Sorry about missing you guys yesterday. I spent the day yesterday trying to salvage what I could of these shelves. We were able to get one shelf back on the wall. God willing, that's where it stays. Other shelf, I just couldn't salvage it. Having to reorganize my usual backdrop, working with only one shelf now. Hopefully, I'll have everything completed in the next week or so. I am not a DIY guy. I'm not a do-it-yourselfer. I'm more PIY, pay it yourself. I try to stick to doing things that I do best. I feel like I'm pretty good at what I do here on the channel. I am sure some of you guys are excellent DIYers. I am sure some of you guys are expert plumbers, electricians, handymen, shelf hangers. I'm not good at what you do, just like you're probably not good at what I do. We all have our roles. We all have things we excel in, things that we struggle with. When we excel at something, it makes us feel good about ourselves. When we work hard to achieve something, we put in the time, the sacrifice. When we ultimately achieve that goal, it gives you a sense of accomplishment. How would you feel if that feeling of accomplishment was stolen from you? How would you feel if you spent all 4 years of high school busting your ass every day, getting yourself in peak physical condition, making sure you were in peak form? And you're not the only one making sacrifices here. Your parents are sacrificing too. During the school year, me and my girlfriend, we are running around 5 days a week, dropping the kid off at practice, picking her up from practice, going to all the games. The parents are sacrificing too. If she got to her senior year, after 4 years of hard work, and the coach announced that some dude was taking her spot on the soccer team, there are not enough words to describe how pissed off we would be. Last I checked, every high school in the country offers sports programs for young men. So why in the hell would we be allowing dudes to participate in female sports? This shit never happened when I was in high school. Luckily, we live in a region where we don't have to worry about it. Unfortunately for Adeline Johnson and her family, she lives in one of the worst states in the country. My weekend messing around with these shelves, my weekend was not ideal. Adeline Johnson, her weekend absolutely sucked. She was robbed of her opportunity to qualify for the California State Championship in track and field. She will never get this opportunity again. Adeline Johnson is a senior. It is over for her. And the only reason it's over is because some kid woke up one morning feeling bitter. Mommy, why do I keep losing? These other boys keep kicking my ass in all the sports I play. I want a trophy too. It's not fair, Mommy. I know, Alan. It's not right. Come check out my closet. Pick out your favorite skirt. We're going to apply some makeup, change your name to Athena, and you're going to be a real woke woman. The thing is, and I don't want to be too hard here because this is just a kid, but the kid could not even win competing against young women. Athena, Alexis, doesn't matter what your name is, they failed to finish first place. The user of she, her pronouns came in second. Now the problem for young Adeline Johnson, only the top 3 finishers qualify for the state championship. Adeline Johnson came in fourth. After 4 years of dedication, after 4 years, hard work, determination, sacrifice from her family, Adeline Johnson had her spot in the qualifiers stolen by an identifier. My stance on this issue has not changed. Simple solution to this problem. If administrators are afraid to stand against it and they allow kids who used to identify as boys to compete against the girls, the solution is simple. All the young women out there, do not compete. If they have no one to compete against, perhaps they'll crank their propeller and drive back over to the boys. It should not be the responsibility of these young women to have to do this, especially because they're all minors. These young women in California, they decided to go through with the competition. There was nothing fair about it. Adeline Johnson made her feelings known. As they were announcing the awards, Adeline Johnson made a simple hand gesture to the crowd. This simple hand gesture has gone viral, over 1 million views on Twitter since early Sunday morning. There are young women in this clip, along with a future birthing person. See if you can identify the identifier. I'll give you a hint. It's the one that appears to have a bright future competing against dump divers in the WNBA or starring in future Bud Light commercials. Here's another hint. Picture Dylan Mulvaney with blonde hair standing in front of the number 2. Roll the film.
And 5th place is already valued at the time of 1:12.03. Rihanna Lee. fourth place for Branson High School at the time of 1:11:17, Adeline Johnson. And third place at the time of 1:11:48 from Camp Lindo High School, Ellie Buckley.
Woohoo!
And second place at the time of 1:11:78.
Tuck in, Lord, just tuck in.
And first place.
It is extremely rare that I feel sorry for people living in California. One of the most beautiful states in the country has been destroyed by the woke fungus. The only way the woke fungus is allowed to take over is when the population continues to elect woke politicians. Californians, they either enjoy the butt bongo band or they like electing politicians with the inability to make facial expressions. I mean, how else can you explain how Nancy Pelosi continues getting elected? With their affinity for woke boner words, you would think parents in California would be supportive of Irene identifier. This young person is amazing! How do they look so masculine when they run, but also had the physical appearance of almost looking like a woman? Israel puts in the hard work to look like Irene. It's really admirable when you think about it. Now you would think parents in California would rally their support and show their admiration, their love for Athena Ryan. I can see it now, all those proud parents, smiles on their faces, as the young pretender rounds that corner, stealing second place from their daughters. The true joy and ecstasy they must have felt as they witnessed true progress in action. Surprisingly though, people who identify as parents in California, they were not feeling joy Saturday afternoon. Feelings of joy were replaced with feelings of anger, possibly disgust. Perhaps some were confused. I thought this was supposed to be the girls' race. What the hell is a future WNBA dump diver doing out there on the field? California is famous for their love of identifiers, but there is something else California is famous for. Peaceful protest. You know the peaceful protest I'm talking about, like the Watts riots in the mid-60s, the Rodney King riots in '92, the peace and love that was spread during the BLM riots in 2020. Tupac and Dr. Dre, they even made a song about California's love of protest in '96. California loves a peaceful protest. California loves a peaceful protest. In the spirit of protest, a group of parents organized a demonstration Saturday afternoon to express their outrage that a former rake who now chooses to identify as a battery-powered shovel was allowed to compete against motorless lawnmowers. Parents were pissed. They were upset because their daughter's opportunity to compete in the state championship was essentially stolen from them. With California known to be accepting of protest, you would think this demonstration was welcomed. If so, you would think wrong. You see, there are only certain types of protests that are accepted in the state of California. Protesting pretenders competing against women ain't one of them. Watch for yourself.
Yeah, baby. Protect female sports. There you go.
They're kicking us out. They're kicking us out because we care about women and girls.
No, that's not true. That's not what we're doing.
Yeah.
I'm an activist myself. You can't say that. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I got love for everybody. Is it no signs allowed? Just outside.
Just our sign.
No signs inside?
Just our sign.
No signs inside?
Our sign's not allowed. Other signs are allowed. There's a girl not going to state because of a boy. Right now,
Because
just
of
happened.
what?
There's a
Just happened.
transgender female in there that's winning.
Just went to state.
Really?
Just now.
In high school?
10 minutes ago.
Shut up. What
Took a
event?
girl's spot.
My favorite part was where the guy says, I'm an activist too. I'm not kicking you out because you're activating. I'm kicking you out because your protest isn't activating the woke boner. You see, ma'am, or possibly sir, you're on the wrong side of the issue. You're fighting for biological women. I'm fighting for all women. Woke women, pretend women, Rachel Levine women. Ooh, I love all women, especially women with an additional leg. In all fairness to the dude kicking them out, he was probably just following orders. I highly doubt this was his call to have them kicked out. But let me ask you something. If Athena Ryan, whatever, if Athena Ryan wasn't allowed to compete, and there was a group protesting what would have been the right decision, do you think they're getting kicked out? Hell, in California, they would have been welcomed with open arms. Welcome to the protest. The state of California has provided these signs for you. Also, feel free to utilize the grill provided by Gavin Newsom. Oscar Mayer even went the extra mile and provided complimentary grilled woke wieners. The parents being removed, that is not what surprised me. What surprised me the most about that clip was how many parents were uninformed as to what was going on. You saw towards the end, there was a nice black couple leaving the event, or what deacons at Woke United Methodist would call a traditional family. Yuck! Who wants to be raised by a father and mother when you can be raised by WNBA All-Stars? I would imagine that is the reason the protesters were kicked out. They were bringing awareness to an issue that most parents didn't know about. If I had to guess, school administrators, they didn't notify parents that this track and field race was gender neutral. Remember a couple of years ago when we first started talking about Leah Thomas here on the channel? Remember what I said back then? I said eventually this issue would make it to the high school level. It wouldn't happen in more popular sports like football and basketball. It would start with sports that were less popular like swimming, track and field, gymnastics, cycling. Sports that didn't attract as much attention. They wanted to set a precedent. They wanted to normalize it before moving into more popular sports. And that is exactly what deacons at Woke United Methodist are doing. Every week, there is a news story of a transgender athlete winning in women's sports. Recently, we've seen it in surfing and cycling. Now, it's starting to filter down to the high school level. These are kids. They should be worried about getting a date for prom. They should not be worried about what they're going to be exposed to in the locker room. Credit to these parents for at least fighting back, and credit to Adeline Johnson for giving this bullshit the thumbs down. But give me your thoughts. Here we go again. Another transgender athlete taking a spot from a young woman. You know, it's kind of sad that this is no longer shocking. Hell, I was actually more surprised that there are people still living in the state of California. If you're a parent and this happened to your kid, what would you do? How would you push back? It seems unfair to ask the kids to refuse to participate, refuse to compete, but how else do you stop it from happening? You let me know. Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys later.